Hi, boys and girls. Let's get ready for lesson 14.3, which deals with bar graphs, a different way to display data. Let's turn our attention to the Solve and Share on page 815.
This graph shows the number of birthdays in each season for a class. How can you use this graph to write the number of birthdays in the table? Tell how you know.
So first off, what are you asked to find out? Well, they want to know the number of birthdays in each season. What do we already know that can help us solve this? Well, we already have all the data in the graph. So here's what we need to do. Let's look. We have our birthdays by season. Well, boys and girls, we can complete the table here, which I think could help us. So let's look here. We have spring, summer, fall, and winter birthdays by season. So let's look at our bars. So if we look at our bars, here are the seasons, and on the bottom of our graph, we have what? We have the number of students, and they go by number. And we could see that each of these little lines here corresponds to a number of students, and we can follow it up to the bar. So if we look at spring, our bar, and we follow it down the line, we can see how many students have their birthday in the spring. 7. So we could write that in to our chart, or to our table. So I'm going to write a 7. I'm going to move that right there. There it is. So we have 7 spring birthdays. Now let's look at summer, and I can follow it down with my finger, or my cursor in this case. That's 10. So I'm going to write 10 in. I'm going to write a 10. We have 10 birthdays in the summer. There we go there. Now we could go to fall. I'm going to follow down. You have to be careful. You have to look. There's 4. Okay, I'm going to put my 4 birthdays. I'm going to move it down. Oh, where'd my 4 go? There it is. My 4 birthdays in the fall. And now we're going to look at our winter birthdays. How many winter birthdays? I'm following the end of my bar, where the color ends. And how many winter birthdays are there? There are 2. So I'm going to write that in. 2 winter birthdays. Oh, there we go. Things are popping up all over on here. So there we go. We have 2 winter birthdays. So now we've completed that as well. So now we can answer our questions here. How can we use the graph? So we're able to use our graph. We just went to the end of the graph and we're able to fill in our table by going to the end of the bar. We followed the bar down to the number of students. We were able to very easily complete our table. Right, boys and girls? Now, so we use the data from the graph to complete the table, didn't we? Is it showing the same data? Yes, it is. It shows the exact same data, but here we're using it in a visual way. So we can see quite easily, when are the most birthdays? In the summer, our bar is longer. When are the least number of birthdays? In the winter, I don't even have to look to see how many. I could just look at the shortest bar. When are the second most birthdays? In the spring, I could see just by looking. I don't have to figure anything out. I could just say that. Now, boys and girls, we were able to take this data and transfer it here into our chart, into our table, I should say, because now we have a table. And if we wanted to, we could ask ourselves some questions about that, which is what we're going to do later in the lesson. So boys and girls, we use the data shown on the bar graph to complete a table. Later in our lesson, we're going to use data shown in a table to draw a bar graph. And we'll answer some questions about the data presented in the bar graph. So we're going to get a lot of practice because we've used bar graphs many times in Simple Solutions, SSM. So we're no stranger to them. So let's get ready for some to practice with some bar graphs, I should say. We're not doing SSM right now.
Use the table to make a bar graph. First, write a title and label the graph. The title is Favorite Activities. The labels are Music, Dance, Art, and Drama. Why is it important to write a title and labels for the graph?
So why would we want titles and labels for the graph? Why do you think that's important? Well, we need to tell what the graph is about and how it shows the information. Now, boys and girls, I want you to notice here that the bottom of the bar graph has numbers and a label. You need the numbers so you know how long the bars are supposed to be. The label tells you what the numbers mean. So this tells us how long the bars are or how long the bars need to be. And this label tells you what the numbers mean. So those are important.
One reason is so you can tell what the graph is about and how it shows the information. These labels tell you what the activity is. The numbers tell you how many children like each activity. Let's color boxes for each activity to match the data on the table. How many children like drama the most? Select your answer.
So let's look. How many children like drama the most? Now we can look here or we could look here on our bar. Is it 5 children or 6 children? Well, I'm going to look at my bar and I could see that my bar goes all the way to the end of the data and I see that there's a 6 here. So I know it's 6 children.
6 children like drama the most. What does the graph show about music and art?
So what are we seeing about that? We can see how many like it. We can follow our bar. We can see how many children like music. We can see 3 children like music. We can see 4 children like dance. We could see 1 child likes art. So we can see how many children like each of those subjects or activities. We can see that 2 more children like drama than dance. We can figure out all sorts of information from those bars.
The graph shows that 3 children like music and 1 child likes art. Do the numbers on the table match the numbers on the graph?
Do they match? So let's look. We have 3 children who like music. 3 children like music. We go to the end of the bar and we follow it down. 3 children like music. Dance has 4 children. 4, that's their favorite activity. Let's look at dance. Yes, 4, it matches up. We go to the end of the bar. Art, 1. 6 for drama, favorite activity. 6 for drama.
Yes, the numbers on the table and graph do match. You have learned how to use a table to make a bar graph.
So now let's put it into practice. Let's do some practice of making a bar graph. We were reading them, now let's make some. Now, of course, we can refer to the top of our paper if we get confused. So, let's get busy. It says use the table to complete the bar graph. Then use the bar graph to solve the problems. So we're going to just be using this table to complete the bar graph. So first we have to complete the bar graph. That's going to be step 1. So I need my markers here. So it says first we have to complete it. So first I want you to trace over all of this. We need to trace in our labels. So the table is called Favorite Pet. I want you to trace over the words Favorite Pet because that's the title of our table. Then we have to finish labeling our table. So our labels are pet and then number of students. So let's do that. And we have to trace over the type of pets. So we have a cat, a dog. We have to trace the word dog. We have to trace bird and turtle because these are the pets that are favorite pets. We have cat, dog, bird, and turtle. We have to trace those. Then the number of students, we have to trace that as well. So we have to trace 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I'll give you a minute to trace those. Okay, you got that done, boys and girls? Now, here comes what we're going to do next. Now we have to make our bars. Now, as we can see, the cat bar has already been done. 4 students chose cats as their favorite pet. Now we go over here to our table and we see that 6 students chose dogs. So what we're going to do is we are going to color in to the bar, to the end of the bar for 6. So I want you to get a crayon. We're going to color in our bar to the 6. So we got to color in, and I would like you to color it in neatly. I don't want it to be sloppy. Okay? It's a little more difficult for me to color in. I'm coloring in with a cursor here, with this little pen. Okay. Now we're going to look at bird. It looks like here 2 students chose bird. So now we're going to look. Here's the 2, so we're going to color up to here. So we're going to color in our 2 squares up to bird. So let's color that in. Color in bird. Let's do that. There we go. And lastly, we have turtle. 3 students chose turtle, so let's color in turtle. Oh. Color in the turtle. Turtle bars. Okay. So now we have it all colored in. I do not recommend this as your regular form of coloring. Not easy there. Okay, so now let's look and see what we have. Let's answer our questions. It says, how many students chose cat? Now remember, our directions say use the bar graph to solve the problem. So we're not looking at our table anymore. Now we're looking at our bar graph. So let's look cat. So we look at the end of the bar. We go down, and what is our answer here? 4. So trace over the 4. Okay. Now it says, which pet did the most students choose? So all we do is we look for the longest bar. Oh, and the answer is dog. Well, I'm going to tell you right now that Tilly, my dog, is under my feet right now, and she will agree with this answer. She thinks dogs are awesome. So let's write the word dog there. Dog. Perfect. Now, let's do this. Let's look. Everybody got that? Now let's look here. Let's look up here again. And it says, which activity did the most students choose? So look at the activities. Which activity did most of them choose? And we're going to figure that. Which one did most of them choose? Drama. So let's type that in there. And how do we know that? It has the longest what? It has the longest bar. We're going to say drama, and we're going to say the bar for drama is the longest. And I'm going to move that here because that's where it belongs. Okay, now I'm going to leave this here for you to look at. Okay, do you have that, boys and girls? And then we're going to look at our independent practice and our problem solving to see if we're going to run into any issues there. If you're going to have any problems doing anything. I don't think you are. Okay, now let's see what we have to do here because you can always pause the video if you need to write. So let's look. Now what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to do your independent practice. Okay, that is all going to be based on the bar graph, your 14.3 independent practice. Remember, you're reading the bar graph. You're going to have your problem solving. Now you're going to be making a bar graph. Now when you're coloring in your bar graph, boys and girls, this is the part that gets colored in right here. Right in here. That's the part that gets colored in, this part. Do you see these parts right here are the parts that get colored in? Right there. Right there. And then you get your homework pages. This isn't all that apply. So it's going to be more than one answer. More than one answer. Excellent. So there you go. That's how you read a bar graph. I love bar graphs. They're so much fun. And tomorrow, we're going to be doing something even more fun, a pictograph. Okay, talk to you tomorrow, boys and girls. Have a great rest of the day.